They did not change any vote tallies or anything of that sort.
We have no evidence that vote tallies were altered or manipulated in any way.
That's correct.
So you have no intelligence that suggests or evidence that suggests any votes were changed?
I have nothing generated by the National Security Agency, sir.
Director Comey, do you have any evidence at the FBI that any votes were changed in the states that I mentioned to Admiral Rogers?
No.
This afternoon, the Intercept news site published the following story. Top secret NSA report details Russian hacking effort days before 2016 election. The 5-page NSA report indicates that Russian hacking may have penetrated further into U.S. voting systems than was previously understood. The Intercept says it obtained the May 5 top secret document with parts redacted through an anonymous source. In it, the U.S. Signals Intelligence Agency concludes unequivocally that Russian military intelligence, otherwise known as the GRU, executed a cyber attack against U.S. election software vendors in August of 2016. It then used data gathered from that attack to send spear phishing emails to over 100 election officials just days before the election. The targeted company is believed to be Florida-based VR Systems, which makes electronic voting software used in 8 states: California, Illinois, Indiana, West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, and New York. Now, to be clear, nowhere in the report does the NSA indicate that any actual voting machines or vote tallies were compromised. Rather than selling the actual machines used to count the votes, VR Systems sells the software, which is used to determine who is eligible to vote. One U.S. intelligence official contacted by The Intercept conceded that the Russian operation outlined by the NSA targeting voter registration software could potentially have disrupted voting in the locations where VR Systems products were being used. The NSA report says it is unknown what potential data could have been accessed and makes no conclusion about what effect the attack had on the outcome of the election. But it does conclude definitively that Russian military intelligence, the GRU, was behind the attack. As we mentioned, the NSA document was leaked to The Intercept anonymously. Barely an hour after it was published this afternoon, the Department of Justice announced it had arrested and charged a federal government contractor with leaking the document, the very first criminal charge in a leak prosecution during the Trump administration. Reality Lee Winner, a 25-year-old woman from Augusta, Georgia, was charged with removing classified material from a government facility and distributing it to a news outlet. The FBI says that when they approached Winner at her home Saturday, she admitted to printing out a copy of the document, removing it from her place of work, and mailing it to The Intercept. And joining us now is NBC News national security reporter Ken Delaney. And Ken, great to see you. So let's go through what we know and what we don't know, because the big question that was asked by a lot of Democrats during the campaign and pointedly by Republicans in defense of Donald Trump was whether or not Russian hacking actually flipped votes, changed votes in machines. That's not what this report is talking about, right?
That's right, Joy. I think you laid it out really well there. There is nothing in this report, nothing that we know suggests that any votes were changed. But what I find really interesting about this report is that it shows that the Russian hacking went on right up until the election, well after the Obama administration had warned the Russians to stop doing this, to cut it out. And, you know, there's been reports of high-level warnings from CIA Director John Brennan to his counterpart in the Russian intelligence agency. And the U.S. was mobilized and was well aware and was very worried that bad things were going to happen on Election Day. And so it's not really clear from this report whether this was an attempt to make those bad things happen, but it's pretty clear that the Russians were into some systems that were close, if not to the vote, at least to the voter registration files. And what folks I've talked to say could have potentially happened, but didn't, thankfully, is that they may have been able to change voter registration identity en masse, so that you could have had situations where people were showing up to the polls and every third voter was found that their registration didn't match and they weren't allowed to vote. That could have caused mass chaos and disruption. Now, there was some disruption in North Carolina, for example, but there's nothing definitively linking it to this hack. And, you know, there's just so many questions here. We just don't know. And it's an example of some classified information that the U.S. possessed and hasn't released to the public yet about this.
And that's, I think, the point, Ken. And I think what will make people nervous is that you do have a situation where there was significantly reduced voting in certain states where fewer than expected voters came out. I'm thinking those big swing states like Michigan, Wisconsin. We know about this one attempt to do spear phishing attacks that, as you said, could delete people off the voting rolls, meaning you show up to vote and you're no longer in the voting rolls, and it's not as a result of a mistake mistake or voter suppression. It's literally the result of a spear phishing attack. Is there any reporting on whether or not the NSA believes that that was more widespread and that this is just the one they caught?
The reporting that we have on that suggests that they don't, and they've said as much in public. You know, this is one small intelligence analysis report. It's an interesting report. I'm glad we're seeing it, but it doesn't contain any of the raw intelligence. And for example, anyone looking for proof that the Russians carried out this hack are not going to find it in this report. This report expresses conclusions and analysis from the NSA. It is interesting that they say definitively in this report that it was the GRU, Russia's military intelligence unit. No caveats there. So, you know, that's a well-founded intelligence assessment in this report. But no, to your larger point, you know, NSA Director Mike Rogers has testified before Congress that he's not aware of any larger effort that would have caused disruption to the actual election.
And you make a very good point there, because what we've been talking about in terms of the Russian attacks on elections is sort of using freelance hackers, using hacker collectives, using WikiLeaks and other third parties. Is this the first report that we're getting that links directly back to the GRU, or is this just adding to the evidence that this attack on our election came right from the top?
Well, you know, previous U.S. intelligence reports that have been made public mentioned the GRU, but this one is more definitive. And you know, that would be based not on computer forensics, which Vladimir Putin famously told Megyn Kelly can be spoofed, and he's right about that. That's based on signals intelligence and human intelligence, as we understand it, you know, tracking this thing back to particular Russian officials.
Let's talk about this arrest. How do we have reporting, or do you have reporting on how they were able to zero in on the person who was arrested, Ms. Winner?
Yeah, this is a really remarkable part of the story. You know, they did it through basic forensics. She appeared to be rather careless. She emailed over open email, according to the affidavit, with the news site. And then and she also printed out this document, according to the affidavit, again, though she did not have a need to see it, and they can track all that within their systems. We're talking about a 25-year-old contractor here, and the reason she was of interest to the NSA and was employed there apparently was she's a former Air Force linguist who is fluent in Dari and Pashto, which are the languages of Afghanistan, so very valuable to the NSA, but 25 years old, had just gotten a top secret security clearance, and it's another example of how the NSA has a problem with leakers. This is like one in a series of insiders. You never used to see this kind of thing happen at the NSA. Once you got a clearance over there, it was like a club, it was a trusted circle. They're seeing a lot of it now.
Yeah, one thinks of one contractor named Edward Snowden was one of those that happened. NBC's national security reporter Ken Delanian, thank you very much.
Good to be with you, Joy. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, and up next, we're all awaiting what could be explosive testimony from former FBI Director James Comey this week. But there's another hearing on Capitol Hill that could also shed light on the Russia investigation, and it's one that's worth keeping an eye on.
You're watching MSNBC International.
A lot of these are Rust Belt Democrats, high non-college educated whites, so that's the flip side of that. But yeah,
Nobody breaks it down like Kornacki.
Nobody. We love it.
Guy just gets in, peels it apart.
We